Number 2 in numerology is not loud, not dominant, not eager to conquer the world with a sword in hand like number 1. It is the quiet current beneath the surface, the unseen rhythm that holds relationships, emotions, and subtle intelligence together. If number 1 is the king, number 2 is the advisor who truly understands the kingdom, because this number is governed by the moon. And the moon, unlike the sun, does not generate its own light but reflects, absorbs, and transforms. This alone tells you everything about its nature: receptive, sensitive, intuitive, adaptive, and deeply emotional, often to the point of being misunderstood even by itself. People influenced strongly by number 2, born on 2nd, 11th, 20th, 29th, or with strong lunar influence in their charts, are natural empaths, diplomats, healers, artists, and emotional translators of the human experience, capable of sensing what is not being said, reading between silences, and understanding moods like a musician understands notes. But this gift comes with a price. Their internal world is often turbulent, like the tides governed by the moon itself, fluctuating between calm and chaos, confidence and doubt, clarity and confusion, making them prone to overthinking, mood swings, dependency, and emotional vulnerability. They are not weak, contrary to popular shallow interpretations. They are simply tuned to frequencies others are too coarse to perceive, which is why they excel in creative fields like music, poetry, dance, healing arts, counseling, and anything that requires emotional intelligence rather than brute logic. Yet ironically, they often struggle in environments that demand aggression, competition, or harsh decision-making, because their natural instinct is to harmonize, not dominate. In relationships, number 2 is both a blessing and a test. They love deeply, loyally, and almost selflessly, often placing others' needs above their own, which can lead to emotional exhaustion, heartbreak, or being taken for granted, because not everyone values softness in a world obsessed with strength. And here lies their life lesson: to learn boundaries without losing compassion, to stand without hardening, to love without dissolving themselves completely. Psychologically, number 2 represents the subconscious mind, memory, dreams, and the emotional body, which is why such individuals may have strong intuition, psychic tendencies, vivid dreams, or even spiritual inclinations. They often feel drawn to occult sciences, tarot, healing modalities, and inner work, not because it is fashionable, but because their inner world demands understanding, structure, and expression. From a classical numerological perspective, as seen in works inspired by systems like Tarot, Pythagorean traditions, and even Indian numerology aligned with Chandra Tattva, number 2 is the principle of duality: yin and yang, light and shadow, self and other. And therefore, these individuals constantly navigate between opposites, seeking balance, often feeling incomplete until they find emotional or spiritual alignment. The shadow side of number 2, however, is where things become complicated. Indecisiveness, lack of self-confidence, dependency on validation, escapism, passive aggression, emotional manipulation, yes, even that, because sensitivity can turn strategic when hurt, and a tendency to avoid confrontation at the cost of truth, which can silently damage both themselves and their relationships. Physically and energetically, moon-dominant individuals may experience issues related to fluids in the body, sleep patterns, mental restlessness, anxiety, or hormonal imbalances, especially when their emotional world is disturbed, because for them, mind and body are not separate territories, but reflections of each other. Yet when balanced, number 2 becomes a force of extraordinary grace. These are the people who can calm storms without raising their voice, who can heal wounds without medicine, who can create beauty out of pain, and who can connect hearts in ways logic never could. Historically and symbolically, number 2 has always been associated with feminine energy. not necessarily in gender, but in quality: nurturing, intuitive, cyclical, and creative. And in many traditions, it represents the divine feminine principle, the Shakti that complements Shiva, the river that shapes the stone not by force, but by persistence. Even in modern psychology, traits associated with number 2 align with high emotional intelligence, empathy, and interpersonal awareness, which are now recognized as critical skills in leadership and healing professions, proving that what was once dismissed as softness is actually a sophisticated form of intelligence. The real journey of number 2 is not about becoming louder or more aggressive. That would be a misunderstanding of its essence, but about strengthening its inner core so that its sensitivity becomes a strength, not a liability.